Today we are talking about the audio gear I use on a wedding day. When it comes to filming weddings, the video side of it is only a small part of what we have to capture. Audio, I would argue, is almost more important than the video itself. So in this video, I'm gonna go through all of the audio gear that I use to make sure that I capture everything that I can on a wedding day. My first and primary pieces of audio gear are my Tascam DR10Ls. I have a black one and a white one, and I always roll with at least 3 of these, ideally more if I can, to every wedding. But all of my black ones have a white and a black lav mic with them. I do that because it's easier to hide a white mic on a dress, or if there's a military uniform that's white, I can hide the mic on there as well. I mic up everyone that is gonna be talking with one of these mics, from the first look to any speech, to the ceremony. I do the officiant and the groom and anyone else that I might need to capture. The next most frequently used audio gear I have is the Sony TX660. Every wedding we have at least 2 of these. The primary purpose of these is a backup on a handheld mic for speeches and sometimes ceremonies if they're using that instead of a lav mic. I attach these to the mic itself with one of 2 things. I found a sleeve on Etsy. These are really good at hiding the recorder on the mic itself, and it just slides in here. The issue that I have had with these is that they're far too tight. So sometimes it's difficult to get it over the microphone, and sometimes it actually makes the power button on the mic inaccessible, so the DJ or sound technician can't actually turn the mic on without moving it. That's why I switched over to using these. These are just regular cloth hair ties from Target. I can link these in the description if you're interested, but I clip the mic to it and then I wrap it around the microphone. And while you can see the recorder, if it's on a black mic, it's not that noticeable. And it's just a lot more convenient to stop and start the recording, for the technician to turn the mic on and off, and it's never really given me an issue since I started using these. Both are great options, it just comes down to what you want to use. The second thing I use these for is in a pinch when I find out somebody's about to speak, or there's gonna be a first look we didn't plan on, and I don't really have time to pull out the Tascam and the lav mic. I'll take this, I'll start it, and I'll literally stick it into the pocket of whoever I need to record. And it's set up in a similar position to a lav mic, and it picks up just the same. So I'm able to get that in a pinch. Now let's talk about running feeds from a DJ or a soundboard. That is when I use the Zoom F6. Now this is technically a broken Zoom F6 because I'm actively using my Zoom F6 with this microphone that's recording this video. But this is what it looks like. It uses a Sony MPF battery, which I have plenty of, and I can run that literally the entire day without thinking it's gonna die. With these, I like to pull as many audio sources from the board as I possibly can. Ideally, it's used for capturing the speeches and the spoken word stuff. So my primary request to the person running the board is usually to pull a feed from the microphone receiver, if it's a wireless microphone. And I would just pull off of their 1/4 inch that's usually on the back of those microphone receivers and run it straight into the F6. A lot of times the technician doesn't like pulling from that spot, so my backup source is either from a feed from the actual board itself or from the back of a speaker in a last resort situation. If I have access to all of that, I'll do at least 2 of them, sometimes all 3, because I always come with the cabling that I need to be able to do all of that. The final piece of audio gear in regards to audio recorders is my Zoom H1. I don't use this quite as often. It used to be what I use in place of the Tascam DR10Ls. But now that I have those, this is primarily kept because it has external microphone built into it. So if there is a ceremony that has a string quartet or a pianist or something like that, I know that I can get good audio from them by literally just setting this and facing it in their direction. The primary way I use this, however, is during church ceremonies, mainly Catholic ceremonies, where there's a podium that people come up and speak and do readings at outside of the main officiant or priest. And what I do with this is plug in this lav recorder, and I will plug it into the line-in mic spot, and then I will run it up the podium and around the microphone that is on the podium and just clip it to right where the capsule is that they speak into. And that way it's always aimed at whoever's speaking, and I know that if there's someone that I might not have mic'd up, I'll still get that audio. That's it for the audio recorders that I use. I also like to get good quality audio in the cameras. And the way I do that primarily is the Sennheiser MKE600. It's a shotgun mic primarily used for interviews, like I'm using right now, but I have a mount that mounts on my camera and I run that into my mini XLR port. If I'm outside, I always have a dead cat on it. That's right. If you didn't know, this is called a dead cat. Not sure where it got that name, but this is used to block wind noise from the audio recording that I get from the microphone. Finally, this is my tried and true. It's the Shure VP83 shotgun mic, and this is mostly for like the R7 or smaller cams or as a backup to the Sennheiser, and it runs into the 1/8" port for the microphones. It also has a dead cat on it, but it also picks up really good audio as compared to the camera audio, because camera audio in general isn't that good. Well, that's a general rundown of all the audio gear I use on a wedding day and a little bit about what I use each for. If you're interested in knowing more in depth on how I use it, just comment below, let me know. Maybe I'll do another video on it later. If you don't already, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you next time.